Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this fireside chat on delivering total app experience to accelerate business growth, customer experience. Technology teams are struggling to deliver best-in-class user experience. There is simply too much for IT teams to monitor. The modern technology landscape is getting complicated. Urgent innovation and technology sprawl across on-premise and cloud architectures have created challenges never before imagined. 88% of technologists predict that the biggest challenge they will face in 2021 will be the need to drive through transformation at speed. With digital transformation already running 3 times faster than before the pandemic, this presents a massive challenge. So what's an organization to do? To get the answer, we have with us today a senior enterprise technology expert. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Abhilash Purushothaman, MD India and SAARC at AppDynamics. Welcome, Abhilash.
Thank you, Yash. Thank you for inviting me to this. Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful, Abhilash. To begin with, consumer expectations around digital experience, already at an all-time high before the pandemic, have risen even further since the start of 2020. How can enterprise fuel innovation and leverage applications to offer a better customer experience? Your thoughts here, Abhilash.
Great. Before we begin, I hope you, families, your teams, people who are listening, they're all safe and healthy, and I hope everybody is all good. We live in interesting times, as they say, as somebody said many years ago. This ongoing pandemic has rewritten all existing laws around remote working, getting things done online, etc. And as somebody posted in LinkedIn recently, has probably been the biggest digital disruptor of our times. Pandemic did what CXOs and CIOs could not do for years, as they say. I keep hearing people say when things return to normal in the post-COVID world, etc. So your question is very relevant. Honestly, if you ask me, I'd just like to remind to everybody listening, there is no such thing as a post-malaria world, post-cholera world, and clearly no post-COVID world. As business leaders, we must all recognize a few realities. Our markets are going to stay turbulent. Our employees are going to work from anywhere, pretty much permanently. Our customers, users are going to continue to have digital expectations from us. Our marketing dollars will permanently be reallocated to digital platforms. Our innovation engine has to be taught to fire virtually, not physically. Our competition is now going to come from more unexpected quarters across the global. Basically, life that we are living today, work at home, work in the place, the hybrid work model is how it is going to be for the foreseeable future. It's time for us to adjust the mindset, get positive, go digital and win. So in reality, applications and experience that application provides are now driving disruptions more than ever across all industry verticals, but particularly in retail and e-commerce space. The amount of transition that brick and mortar retailers had to undergo in the last 18 months has really fueled this industry to look at online e-commerce in a more practical way than a checkbox approach that you used to have in the future. Or do you have an online portal? Yes. How many people buy there? Or 2%. Now, there is real tendency to look at it in a more holistic way. And because these application landscapes are progressively becoming more and more complex with cloud native applications, open API, microservices-based architecture, etc., they're ubiquitous today. Everybody uses it, right? And as this tech complexity increases, it creates further obfuscation to online digital user experience. And this complexity has resulted in generating massive amounts of metrics, events, logs, and traces, right? So if you ask me, the reality is we are making our tech landscape so complex to deliver a simple user experience to the user. So there is dichotomy in that statement itself, right? Your output is very simple, easy to use, but what you are doing to provide that is massively complex. So that is why measuring and managing that landscape is probably the #1 priority that people are looking at.
Sure, definitely. Like you said, it's really critical to manage the landscape. But Abhilash, today applications are considered to be the lifeblood of any organization. But there are several factors, both internal as well as external, that may impact the experience of using an application. How can these challenges be mitigated going forward?
Sure. First of all, like I said, the transformation is now accelerated and manifested in the deal due to pandemic, etc. But pandemic merely has just accelerated this process. This is already going, as you know, 2 years before COVID hit us, there has been a massive digital adoption in this country, correct? And so the need of the hour is definitely to manage these new channels that have opened up in context to business. We speak to a lot of CXOs and CIOs during our day-to-day life, and the reality is there is a growing intolerance in the users, that includes you and me, towards any suboptimal application experience, and it is particularly relevant in the retail context because there is no stickiness to a brand, to a site, to a system, right? The stickiness is very less, unlike to a bank. You could say that stickiness to bank is also ephemeral these days. It is slowly going away. So CXOs that we engage with these days have a very conflicting but very important priorities that they have to deal with. They have to deliver fast. The number one priority within internal businesses is to deliver fast. Businesses are asking for new releases. They should be delivered fast with exceptional quality, based on what customers want, based on what internal businesses want, and provide a high-class, high-touch experience that we are used to in terms of things like Netflix, right? In terms of things like Instagram. That is what people are used to, and you're supposed to deliver that. So deliver fast is a real, what I call, use case that people drive. The other one is deliver right, not just deliver fast, deliver right, because a suboptimal experience can make you end up in a front page of a news article or a newspaper, and nobody wants that. It decides their existence. The third is stay secure and compliant. That's the biggest challenge in terms of internal policies, external policies, and now upcoming regulatory framework around data residency, etc. There's a lot of conversation in this country about upcoming laws of where do you keep the data, what the data residency norms, PII data, and we haven't yet been at, as we call, the European level of standards yet, the GDPR level, right? But I think it's going to come. So most of the organizations are still in the stage of, traditionally trying to solve this problem. But I think the challenges that they have today in order to deliver fast, deliver right, and stay secure are forcing them to look beyond what they're doing traditionally.
Sure, Abhilash. So how does the AppDynamics business observability platform help enterprises?
So like I said, people are still looking at traditional monitoring and traditional way to solve this problem. In the past, it would be easier, right? But as you step into the cloud native age, we need to think beyond monitoring or tooling or technical solutions that allows teams to watch and understand the state of their systems. What we keep telling our customers and to the market is, if you're monitoring today, you need to look at full stack observability. Monitoring is the business of knowing what you want to monitor, correct? You know what you want to monitor and you monitor that. Observability on the other hand is you don't know what you need to monitor. You just figure it out by observing behavior. A classic example that I always use is how you go to a doctor, right? When you go to a doctor with a problem, the doctor takes up some observability metrics from you. He takes up a temperature, he checks your blood pressure, he gives you for a blood test, and then he gets some metrics, events, data, traces out of you, and then say, boss, you have to go to a heart specialist. You have to go to a liver specialist. Your problem is in the brain. He doesn't monitor them always, right? Because if you start monitoring in human body, there are so many metrics to monitor, billions of metrics to monitor. That is how applications are today. There are billions of things to monitor. You will not scale. You've got to go into observability. So the problems of today are only be solved by observability systems, or what we call full stack observability systems, that are based on exploring properties and patterns which are not defined in advance. And these systems need to be able to capture and process high cardinality metrics, embrace modern standards like open telemetry by design, perform full fidelity distributed tracing, eliminating the need of sampling techniques so that you don't miss out on anomalies. Innovate using AI-driven troubleshooting based on cognition engines to eliminate false positives, right? And most importantly, and really the most important thing for CXOs in a retail space, make sure that your important revenue generating business transactions are in the context instead of tracking a bunch of IT metrics, right? So that's where AppDynamics has kind of come up. As you know already, we are now a Cisco company. We are now world's #1 AIOps and observability platform. We have been in India for more than 5 years, and we continue to heavily invest in this region. Apart from our large R&D center based in Bangalore, we recently announced this platform, full stack observability platform, hosted in India last year. Our SaaS instance is now hosted in AWS Mumbai and will be fully operated and managed by us. This helps us to deliver our latest innovations faster to our customers in India. That gives us end-to-end visibility for the customers across their network, cloud, infrastructure, applications, end user experience, but most importantly, correlate all of them and provide actionable business insights. Sure. That's what we are doing here.
Sure. Wonderful, Abhilash. And with this, we come to the end of this session, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks once again, Abhilash, for enlightening everyone with your views. And thanks, attendees, for watching this session. Thank you so much.